Well, the boys are back to talk some Mets, guys. Same deal as before. You give me your highs, give me your lows. CeeLo, who surprised you the most on this Mets team?
Well, it's not necessarily a surprise, but I truly didn't know what to expect from Pete Alonso here coming off of last season. And I know the scenario and the situation is a little different because he's got the contract and he's got sort of the safety net of next year and also the option to opt out should he want to and go back into free agency. But I love that he has rode the wave of the momentum that he built late last season and into the postseason, obviously what he did in the playoffs. So, and it's been from the jump. And even early on when the Met offense was struggling, he was the guy coming up with the big hits, home runs, driving in runs. He leads the team in doubles. The OPS is back to where we would expect Pete Alonso to be. RBI's top of the league, right near the top of the league. So batting average is kind of back where we would expect from him, playing a good first base. So he just seems much more at ease and comfortable in his surroundings, comfortable in his skin, which is great to see. And a key for this Mets team, obviously, if they're going to get back to where they were a year ago or go beyond. Having Juan Soto in the lineup certainly helps, but Pete still had to go up there and produce, and he's obviously done that so far.
I'm going to look at the pitching side of things. When you consider the fact that the Mets have only had Sherman basically for what? One outing Sunday against the Kansas City Royals. Kodai Senga spends a month and change on the injured list. It's Clay Holmes for me because there was this great unknown, and I was rather skeptical when the Mets signed Clay Holmes away from the New York Yankees and said, hey, guess what? We're going to make this guy a starting pitcher. Where would the Met rotation be without the reliability that Clay Holmes has brought to the table every fifth day? Now, you want to get on Clay Holmes for not going deep enough into ball games? I think it's a fair critique. Well, guess what? The guy wasn't starting games a year ago. They have needed everything that he has brought to the table. And considering I didn't know if he could handle the challenge of making that transition, he's my biggest surprise.
On the same page, I was definitely surprised by him. Really happy to see him producing that well. Who is it? You said, oh, it's Clay Holmes for me in a good way. Who is it not for you?
I know he's had a couple of hits the last couple of games. I don't care, Niki. It's Mark Vientos. Mark Vientos was the stud of all studs second half of last year. Postseason, you can make the argument he was the best hitter for the New York Mets. And he's lost playing time. He's missed time. He's been in massive funks. You see an OPS that is in the 600s, for goodness sakes. Mark Vientos is way too good a hitter to have these sort of numbers. So do I expect him to bounce back? Yes. Do I think he'll play better in the second half? Yes. But if I'm going to look at the totality of the Mets, he was a guy I was penciling in for 30 and 100, and still, he's not going to get there.
Yeah, the opposite of what I said about Alonso, where he has not been able to bottle up that momentum and the good vibes that he built last season through the postseason. But I'm going to another young player and a guy that we haven't seen the last couple of weeks, at least at the big league level. That's Francisco Alvarez. Because, look, I mean, similar to what's going on with Anthony Volpe with the Yankees, heralded, top prospect, major expectations upon his arrival in the big leagues with a lot of fanfare. He actually, I think, much more productive early on than Volpe was, and it's gone the other way to the point where obviously the Mets had to make the move to send him back to AAA in Syracuse. Now, kudos to him. He's been killing the ball and hitting the crap out of it out there for AAA Syracuse, so hopefully you've seen him back here sooner rather than later. But the expectations for what was supposed to be a star player in the making, young up-and-comer, who's going to handle the pitching staff, going to hit with power, hit for average, and be more of an all-around player. We haven't gotten that version of Francisco Alvarez, certainly not this year, to the point where the Mets had to make that move to kind of hit the reset button for him. Hopefully that works wonders for him when he gets back here. But you've seen kind of the exposure for Luis Torrens and the other guys that are behind the plate for the Mets right now. They need more of a difference maker back there, and I think that's what they're hoping Alvarez can be. We just haven't seen it consistently enough yet.
Yeah, got to get his confidence back up. Guys, get this. The loss kind of added to something that the Mets do often. They haven't won the last game before the All-Star break since 2015.
Ooh,
yeah, that's a streak they got to end next year, guys. Thanks for hanging with us here on Honda Sports Night.